Barbie, Oppenheimer, the cinematic event of the year. Listen to our review up next on the Movie Mob Podcast.
Barbie, let's go party.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Movie Mob Podcast, episode 58, and boy, is it a big one. Barbenheimer weekend is in the rearview mirror, and here we are. I got my shirt on, repping. What a weekend for cinema. Seriously. Regardless of your opinions on either movie, people came out. People showed out for the movies. The theaters were packed. They made a ton of money. It showed in the box office, and I think it's great. I think it shows that, you know what? People want original movies. They don't want sequels. They don't want reboots. They want new movies. They want fresh stories. Matt, how awesome.
Dude, it was cool, man, because we're all movie fans here.
Right.
You know, it's why we do this. We love movies. We love watching them, talking about them, man. And, you know, a lot of people will just say, hey, I'm just going to wait till it drops on Netflix. That's about 99% of the stuff that comes out nowadays, man. But you don't get that. It's that energy that, you know, there's a buzz going around, circulating, you know, and it doesn't happen as much anymore. And it was maybe most I've seen it maybe since Infinity War Endgame. This weekend with Barbie and Oppenheimer, man, and it was really cool to see. And we'll remember this. Man, remember that energy for Oppenheimer and Barbie, dude. And dude, it was just so cool to see as a movie. Really, everyone. There was because there's no Star Wars. There's always controversy, and really, it's everyone just supporting these two movies and making it out to the theaters this weekend. It was awesome to see.
No, I mean, I totally agree, Matt. Listen, we live in a kind of a society, all right, where people do that. They rely on the streaming services.
Many people.
I get it to an extent. Like, it's tough to go out to the movies. It costs a lot of money. But I think that says a lot that people did come out. And I think this marketing helped a lot. I think both of these movies helped each other. And ironically, you know, people were like, oh, Warner Brothers put Barbie on the day Oppenheimer came out to spite Nolan. But meanwhile, it helped him. Oppenheimer it was projected $49 million opening weekend. It made around 80, which is pretty crazy.
Dude, everyone was talking about these two movies.
Yeah.
And they were kind of marketing it. Everyone's talking about, you got to see both of these movies.
Yeah.
And they're you know what helped them both too is you get stars.
Right.
You got Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Robert Downey Jr., everyone and their brothers in fucking Oppenheimer.
Yeah, but the real star was Christopher Nolan, I think.
Oh,
right?
dude, Nolan puts asses in seats. You know what I mean? So, the real, hardcore, you know, movie fans, Oppenheimer, and then also, you know, Barbie for, the family, you know, everyone, dude. I know people who, aren't huge movie people. They might go see, you know, 2-3 movies a year. They all went this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and they built it up as an event. This is the place to be. This is the thing to do. Pop culture.
Yeah.
And, dude, it's just awesome to see, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, Nick, we were saying the other day, it's kind of ridiculous that a 3-hour biopic about a scientist from the 50s is made $80 million in its opening weekend.
No,
I think that says a lot to do with Nolan and the marketing.
Yep.
Dude, a movie about a 10-inch plastic doll made $155 million in 3 days.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's similar to the Mario movie, I think, and the reason that made so much money is it crossed generations.
Yes.
Everyone grew up with Barbie.
I mean, I haven't seen Barbie, but I've heard a lot about it, and I've heard that it's not necessarily a movie for children.
Yeah, and we can talk about that. Yeah,
I'm sure you guys will, but it definitely is I don't know.
It's definitely more mature.
What 35-year-old to 55-year-old woman doesn't want to look at Ryan Gosling? You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I went for Ryan Gosling. And I got what I wanted. He was great.
He was the best part of the movie.
He was.
You know?
Yeah. I'm just Ken. Right?
Dude, I've been bumping the soundtrack.
It's a good song.
You know what I mean?
It's a good song.
It's a good soundtrack altogether.
Yeah. But we're going to start this review off with Barbie, a little brief review, and then we're going to dive deep into Oppenheimer because I think there's a lot more meat to Oppenheimer to talk about. But Matt, saw Barbie. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I probably would not have seen Barbie in theaters if it wasn't for the whole Barbenheimer thing. I did it because of the event.
Okay.
You know, but you were definitely more excited for this movie than me.
Yeah.
What were your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts? That's nice. Look at that.
Look at that.
That's so cute.
Look at my elbow. It's perfectly aligned with Ryan Gosling's.
Dude, I'll say when we went to AMC here, dude, the amount of people dressed up as Barbie, everyone was dressed up as Barbie.
Yes, a lot of pink.
We didn't go the opening. What did we go, the third night?
Yep.
And so it was like opening weekend, third night. Dude, everyone dressed up as Barbie, like really into it.
Yeah.
Like some people wearing some outfits, I don't know,
Right.
who let them out the house. But, dude, no, this movie, dude, overall, I liked it. I got what I wanted from it. I mean, my expectations were I just wanted to have a fun time.
Yeah, definitely.
And just see the stars. Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Dua Lipa for me.
Yep. Few scenes with her.
Yeah, that was it was great. She had like 2 lines. But,
John Cena.
Dude, that was nice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a fun time. I wanted to laugh. It was a very colorful movie. Overall, I got what I wanted from it.
Sure.
I will say it was I didn't realize it was PG-13.
Yeah.
It was I'm not gonna lie, I got a little deep at the end.
It did.
With Barbie kind of like realize, everything's not, sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guess that was the theme they were going for the whole time. I just would have liked, keep it a little lighter, but I'm really not thinking about it too much. I really don't. Listen, I laughed. It was cute. It was funny. It was cheesy. And I think you alluded to it earlier. Ryan Gosling was by far the best part of the movie.
I mean, it definitely it had its goofy moments. It definitely had a lot of social and political like allegory to it. But when you bring in a director like Greta Gerwig, she's come from the indie world.
Yeah.
She's going to infuse it with that. Now, but I agree with you, though. I think this movie took itself too seriously at times. And
I'd say in the last 30, it was a 2-hour movie, the last 30 minutes.
Like the third act.
Yeah.
I mean, because the first hour or so, I was in.
Oh, dude, it was
stupid,
great.
It was goofy, and in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It gave me Cat in the Hat vibes. Like the town, like the practical, like town. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And listen, I unironically love the Cat in the Hat.
I love it,
like,
too.
I laugh at that movie every
It's a
time.
great movie.
But
Cupcake,
I
I
kind
hate
of
that.
wish it just kept there.
Okay, me too.
I think that it's interesting, and Nick, you brought it up, the PG-13 aspect is like, I think we were all confused who this movie was marketed to, because we didn't really know what it was until we saw it. And the decision, spoilers obviously, for it to focus on the relationship of the mother, I thought was an interesting move. I think it would have been really cool and maybe a better way to do what Greta Gerwig wanted to accomplish was if they had focused on, like, what if Ken and Barbie had to go into the own world to, like, go with each person that's been playing with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they find themselves that way versus the whole, I think the Mattel thing was a little weird. I think like Ken's taking over Barbie Land.
Yeah,
I think there was a better way to do it.
I'm not going to lie. Ken Land seemed like a fun time.
Horses?
Dude, they're horses, trucks, they watch The Godfather.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. They got mini fridges with beers. I mean, dude,
Right.
I mean, listen.
When that little montage happens, when it shows like Stallone. And,
the best, in my opinion, the best scene in the movie is when Gosling walks into the place.
Yep.
And it's the montage of just like baseball. And,
right.
and it's just the last like frame is just Stallone.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. That made me laugh.
Definitely. But no, so I agree. Like, there's definitely at its moments. I definitely enjoyed it.
Oh,
like I
definitely.
had a good time.
Yeah.
I laughed a few times.
Me too.
I just think overall it took itself too seriously, especially in the second half. And I kind of just wish if they had made this more PG, made it a more universal story, maybe about kids growing out of their things and separating
Like
from their
Toy Story.
parents. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Like
I think,
the doll from Toy Story 2. What's her name? Jessie.
right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That whole song, buddy.
Yeah.
That's a tearjerker.
It is.
That
It is.
song,
And I
that's a
feel like this
tearjerker.
could have been more of a tearjerker. I mean, listen, this is clearly like it was about mothers and daughters, more so about the mother. As a like guy, like you don't connect to that as much because it's a little bit different. But I feel like they could have made it a bit more universal in a way, but I don't know. The music was great.
Great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
You know, Dua Lipa, she did a very nice song, Dance the Night Away. She was in a couple scenes. Thought they could have used her a little bit more,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like, it's
I'm Just Ken.
great song.
What a song.
Dude,
Banger.
Ryan Gosling stole the show.
He did.
I feel like everyone who's seen it, they've said like Ryan Gosling was the best part
I
of this
mean,
movie.
dude, I went for Ryan Gosling. I love Ryan. I feel like the
He's
reason
so good.
men love Ryan Gosling is because he can sing, he can act, he can dance.
He's just a great actor.
He looks beautiful.
He's beautiful. I mean, he's
I
beautiful.
mean, and he's got a great personality. He's funny.
He's pretty chill. He's funny.
Yeah,
You know what
I
mean?
love him.
No,
Yeah.
he's just, dude, what doesn't he do well? You know?
He's got the energy, man.
Hell, there you go. No, he does everything well. I thought a lot of the other performances were good too. I thought Margot Robbie was perfect as Barbie.
Yeah,
I thought she was, really good. And I'll just say, like, aesthetically, I thought they nailed it.
Yes.
Like Barbie world, the whole Barbie thing, like all the colors, like you said, kind of like Ken the Hat. I thought aesthetically perfect.
and a bit of a kind of an elf reference maybe when they're traveling through.
Yes,
and it's the
I thought of Elf,
cardboard.
too.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think of Michael Cera?
Oh, he was
Alan.
great as Alan. That was kind of funny. Yeah.
he was so funny.
And whenever you put Mike, I haven't seen him in much recently, but that was good.
I think it was a father.
But listen, there's discourse online. It's got like a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, but there's definitely discourse, and like, I understand, like, you know, it's gonna happen when you make a movie with, you know, like social and political things like that. But, you know, I'm just happy for what this movie meant for movies in general and people going to the theater. I think that, putting that stuff aside, it's great that people went out, they saw movies, they enjoyed them, very different movies, but all the same.
I think that's part of the appeal too, of like going out. Is like
Right.
I don't think you could have two like more polar opposite movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's like kind of like
really
the fun
what
of,
like led into it.
yeah, that's kind of like the fun
exactly.
of it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it.
But the original was back in 2008. The Dark Knight and Mamma Mia came out on the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't see Dark Knight. You know, obviously goated. Mamma Mia, I don't know if it's on the same level as Barbie. You know what I mean?
You think Barbie's better than Mamma Mia?
I haven't seen Mamma Mia.
Oh, that seems like a Matt movie.
I know, it's on the list. It's on the list.
Pierce Brosnan,
Don't
too?
they play a bunch of ABBA?
ABBA? It's all ABBA.
It's all ABBA.
Oh, I
It's
love
all
ABBA.
And then there's a second one with, what's her name? Lily James. Plays a young Meryl
I like her.
Streep.
She's in Baby Driver, right?
A lot of grease shots. Yes, she is in Baby
I
Driver.
like her.
Yeah, check that out.
Maybe
Mamma
I'll
Mia.
add it to the
Yeah.
list.
So you also took your girlfriend with you.
Yes.
Right? Now it's a Barbie movie, and I'm not trying to be misogynistic
No,
here at all.
Her little
even
sister was there, too.
Okay, so without them being here,
They
what was
loved
the
it.
general?
They cried at the end.
Okay, good. So
But
I heard
like-
there's like a
yeah,
montage at the end of the girls throwing away the Barbie, or playing with the Barbie dolls with the moms, and like that kind of
Yeah,
montage
like all
deal.
it was just like all little girls, like as kids playing with their moms, type of thing. Very
Right.
like
Well, nostalgic,
playing into
kind
it.
of.
Yeah,
that kind
they
of.
wanted to make you cry.
That's
type
cool.
of thing.
And it's but so your girlfriend Allie, she liked it.
Yes,
Okay,
I mean,
good.
listen, this movie was not made for Matt and I.
No, but
I think
mean,
there were elements that we enjoyed, like we laughed
Sure.
at parts, but it definitely was for girls. I think
One thing
that's
on the
Greta Gerwig's
production
take.
side that I think you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this or not. I saw it on Instagram a couple days ago. They showed a behind the scenes, the scene where they're driving in the car.
Yes,
And it's like you said, the Elf reference where it's like,
Yeah,
"Bye,
yeah.
buddy," except it's like,
Amsterdam.
Yep.
they shot that practically.
yeah, most
That's
of it
cool.
It's
looked
like
practical.
a real,
Yeah.
it's a real shot, like real sets and stuff. It's not CG or anything, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of an interesting thing.
Listen,
Cool.
Greta Gerwig's a great director. I liked her Little Woman adaptation. I think you'd like that too. That's another.
I'm
Matt.
gonna check
Yeah,
that
watch
out.
Little Women.
So it was also written by her and Noah
No,
Baumbach.
I didn't realize that. Yeah,
But I wonder, and I saw a couple reviews of Barbie that were talking about this, and not to go too much into
Yeah.
like the politics side of things, but like I wonder how much of it was written by an established Hollywood elite like Noah Baumbach, and how much of it was written by Greta Gerwig.
yeah.
Because I don't know if Greta Gerwig would be the one that would be so anti certain themes, if that makes sense.
Well, I think they're both like on the same level in terms of like place in Hollywood, because like she got big with Lady Bird and Little Women, and he got big with Marriage Story. I think they're both on the same plane.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I mean, listen, I hate when politics get brought into movies, but
Politics
sometimes
aside-
it happens. Yeah.
Politics aside, I've heard that the storyline is questionable at best. Like just from a generic movie standpoint.
Yeah.
Like just talking like if it was a regular like movie, does it make sense or not?
I mean,
not really.
It's ridiculous. Like it's a
No,
Barbie
I know, I'm
movie,
talking- but, like-
I do. I
like-
think it could have been done better. Kind of like what I said earlier. I think that it would have been more interesting because the whole concept is like Barbie, Margot Robbie's Barbie starts realizing that she can like this about death.
Right,
And,
but it's
like-
America Ferrera, right? That has these actual
But
thoughts.
because American Ferrera is the person who played with her.
American, yeah,
Yes,
America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the mom who played with her, and she's having those feelings, so they're like transporting to the Barbie too.
Right. No, I get that.
But
What I'm saying is like when she goes back at the end or whatever, and she tries to change Barbie Land to be
Yeah.
like a more like they. I don't know. I didn't know.
No,
if
I
it, like,
just
made
I think it
sense
would
or
have been
not.
more interesting if like it focused a bit more on the relationship with kids and the dolls.
Yeah.
and if, and
Well,
if
some
Ken
people-
had his own kid out there too. He had to reconcile with.
Some people are calling it a modern take on Pinocchio because she becomes the real girl at the end.
Oh, she does. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind
I
of
could see
interesting
that.
as well. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
No
Yeah.
Geppetto though. You need
No
Geppetto.
Geppetto.
You do need a Geppetto if you're gonna make a Pinocchio. Well,
Yeah.
she does meet at one point, doesn't she? Meet the creator of Barbie.
Oh yeah,
In a,
Ruth.
Ruth. Yeah.
Ruth. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I saw it. I'm glad I was a part of the Barbenheimer thing.
It was a thing to do. You know
It
what I
was
mean?
a thing to do, Matt.
Can you send me this picture later?
I will.
All right, thanks, man.
But let's get into the big time, the big main event here.
Oh, really quick,
Yeah.
real quick factoid here that'll lead us
Factoid.
into this a transition shot here.
I like
Sorry,
facts.
didn't even think about it. There are supposedly some
I love
fans that were watching Barbie that said that they could hear the bomb go off in the next room over
wow.
from the Oppenheimer theater.
Art jokes, you can't go wrong, right?
Classic.
Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, everyone in the book was in this movie. We went opening night on the biggest
did.
screen we could in
We
the
did.
area. We didn't get that 70 millimeter
Oh,
screening.
look how
but
cute we all
look at
look.
this great crew. We got all members of the podcast. Hamza has not. He's not made an appearance
He's
yet.
just
though.
such a cute kid, dude.
He's a great kid, and he came. He was excited for Einstein, man, and he got Einstein,
Dude,
man.
he wants to see it again. He texted me. He goes, "Dude, can we go? I want to see Einstein."
I'm
again.
taking the parents Saturday.
Oh,
they
it's nice.
usually don't go to the theaters, but
That's
this is
nice.
an event. They need to go.
Joe Senior's.
Oh
going?
yeah.
That's nice.
That's
Is he excited?
he is. He
Nice.
is. I think so. But
Oh, that's big.
listen, I was pumped for this movie. I think we were all in the hype of it. It was a long movie, 3 hours,
Oh,
heavy stuff. We knew what we were getting into here, and like I said, it's a biopic. A lot of dialogue scenes. It's interesting because I heard someone behind me after the movie, right when it went to credits. I don't know if you heard them too. They were like, "Oh, I thought there'd be more action." And that to me is like the casual fan who kind of went just like it's a Nolan movie, not knowing
Sure.
what they're going into with the history of it all. But listen, if this was too boring for you, I could see that as a casual fan. But for me, I was locked in from start to finish.
Yeah,
I
watched
learned a
every-
lot
everything.
about the political side of it and what happened to him after and the way they tried to undermine him with the Soviet Union and the communist connections. I thought that stuff was really interesting. Nolan takes liberties with history, obviously. He said in an interview he always values narrative storytelling over historical accuracy. But for the most part, I think he was faithful to the book that he
The
adapted.
biggest complaint that I've heard about the taking liberties and stuff was the fact that he's like having sex with Florence Pugh when the death I am become death line
Yeah,
is dropped.
that
was a little bizarre.
That was a weird way to use that.
Yeah,
That was odd.
It was a little weird.
I was
yeah.
prepared to have like Cillian Murphy like totally redoing that interview, which would have been cool. But that was interesting.
I was focused on other things during that line.
That's fair,
so.
Matt.
Oh, I have one more
that one.
picture before we get
is
into
it the
these.
CGI
Yes,
Florence Pugh?
yes, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
I
this?
thought, you'll see in one
Some,
second. Talk for a second. I'll
What
pull it up.
countries did it?
Malaysia and India.
Oh, they blurred
They
it out.
blurred
right?
it out.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
funny
you
how
can't
some
do
of
that.
those Asian countries they censor those movies.
Oh, isn't that? I know like Marvel stuff. They delete scenes sometimes to
Yeah.
like censor things.
Yeah. They delete a lot. But
Yeah. Take liberties.
Matt, overall, what'd you think of this movie?
Good movie.
Yeah.
Like a BLT sandwich.
Sure.
Good. Listen,
Matt, take a look at this real quick.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you enjoyed Florence Pugh in this?
I like Florence.
Yeah, you approved?
Yeah,
Well, let me ask you this: would you still approve if you lived in India or Malaysia and went to the theater and saw this instead?
That's interesting.
What about the moment before that? What was she? Did they have the robe on her for that too?
Yeah, when she's like on top of him, like what are they
Yeah.
doing?
I'm wondering.
They didn't. I didn't see that
Oh, yeah.
picture. This is just the picture that they had. But
Maybe
this
they
is
just cut it out.
It's the actual frame from the movie, but it's a
Yeah.
CG
Looks like a
dress that
looks
they
like a
put
blanket.
over her.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Um,
sure Nolan was thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I bet.
No CG in the movie, and then they get throw a fucking dress on it.
Huh.
But yeah, I mean, I think first off, I think I liked it a lot more than you, Matt. I mean,
I
you
think-
definitely
yeah.
enjoyed it, but I'm a history guy. Like, I love this shit, so like, I was all in.
That's why I pulled these for you. The actual people versus
yeah.
Yeah, I will say they all look very similar.
They do, especially Einstein.
Emily
'Cause
Blunt, not so much, but
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of these. Yeah, that one doesn't. Robert Downey looks.
I mean, he nailed it with
Little skinnier,
Cillian
but-
Murphy and Oppenheimer. They both have really like interesting eyes that
a
just like
perfect guy.
pop.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But I mean, phenomenal cast. I guess we could talk
Oh,
about
dude.
that first. I think there was not a bad performance in this movie.
I thought the biggest standout was Robert Downey Jr.
I agree.
And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think he would have nearly as much screen time as he did. I didn't know
Yeah.
any of like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I knew about the bomb. I didn't know he was like put on trial,
Yeah.
like all his like communist like dealings and shit. And that was really, I mean, I feel like that was after the bomb went off. That was the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I thought like I feel like when people like walk out of this movie, I feel like the number one thing they'll be wow, Robert Downey Jr. really came to play. You know, because everyone just thinks of him as like Iron Man, and we all know he's a great actor. But like we kind of forget, you know what I mean? Like he can do
It's been so long.
We can do, you know, other than Iron Man, he's a great actor, and I think he, you know, it was like LeBron. You know, everyone forgets. You know, talk about all the other players. You know what? Let's just remind everyone how great I am. Let me drop 40 tonight.
Right.
And that's what Robert Downey Jr. did. He was my favorite acting performance.
I agree with you. And Nick, I wonder where you stand on this. I mean, to me, it's still early. Obviously, we're going to get some more Oscar contenders at the end of the year. But to me, he's a lock for supporting actor right now.
I totally agree. One thing I really, just to kind of go, like, it's an interesting dichotomy between the whole, like, reviews of Barbie versus the reviews of this. One thing story-wise that I thought was really cool about this was, like, yes, it was the guy. What's the guy's name? He was in Pearl Harbor. He was in this. He's
Josh Hartnett.
Yes, he's the shoe-in for the Two-Face guy coming up.
Yes,
maybe.
He was good.
I think he'd be a great Two-Face after that.
Especially after watching this, I was
He'd be
like,
a very
oh,
good Barbie
man. That's all I could think the entire time I'm sitting there. In there.
I'm like, damn, that's good. That's a good move.
He did really well. But there's a line that he had. See, because this could have gone, and okay, the type of politics that are in this movie, and I mean the sneaky, shisty, House of Cards style Robert Downey Jr.
It was very
character, not like left versus right, but just the way that politics works about like stabbing somebody in the back and all this other stuff, right? That's the kind of shit that I like to watch.
Yeah, it's cool.
This movie could have gone in a completely different direction with regard to like the communism and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about Josh Hartnett was that his character literally has a moment of like, don't bring your political BS into the lab.
Yeah.
This is about science. This is about like what we're doing here. I don't want to hear any more about the communism crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like it helps to have it like that because you don't feel strongly for or against. You're just watching for it is what it is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's not super polarizing because of the communism aspect or whatever.
I think, you know, Christopher Nolan, he lives in the US, like he has a lot of US connections, but again, he is an English director.
Sure.
So I think it is kind of good that he could approach an American story from an objective standpoint as a kind of an outsider.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why maybe it contributed to the way he told the story.
I agree with that. I don't think they tried to like push you like either way.
No.
He kind of just presented the facts. I mean, even like Oppenheimer himself, I mean, like he's kind of like a dick, to be honest.
He's really like an egotistical guy.
Yeah, like he's like
he's a scientist.
Yeah,
I mean,
like 2 affairs. Like he's he's kind of like a dick to some people. Like like his boy, a couple of his, like his brother, like they kind of got screwed after everything.
Yeah.
After the trial,
Yep.
they kind of got exiled. But like it doesn't try and like really like steer it. It kind of like presents you the facts and you can come to your own conclusions, which I appreciated.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's a very interesting point. I like. Well, go ahead, RJ.
Well, I was just gonna say to continue with the cast thing.
Yeah.
I was worried about when the names kept coming out for this movie.
I know what you're gonna
every
say.
week, bang, 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 Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Cillian Murphy. I'm like, is this gonna be like every scene? It's like a big reveal. Like, oh, here's
I was just
going
gonna
to
talk about the cast. Dude, I didn't even know that he was in the movie.
He was great.
He was really
But
good.
that's the thing is like,
Like his one scene.
I like sat up in my seat.
Yeah.
I was like, is that who I think
I heard his
it is?
voice. I'm like,
Yes,
I'm like, that's
dude.
Boston.
but that could have been so jarring having all these big actors in, but they were placed perfectly.
How about Rami Malek?
I
One
was just
day.
thinking of him.
killed it.
Fucking
He was
day
great.
player
Killed
in
it.
this
Came
dude.
in.
He plays a good kind of like neurotic, just kind of weird. You know what I mean?
He was in the
Yeah,
background
very
for the
good, very
beginning
good.
of the
Yeah.
movie. I'm like, that's an expensive extra, and then all of a
Amen.
sudden he blows
Did
up
a
the
huge
movie.
scene.
Yeah,
He
that
made the
was
most important scene
crazy.
of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know his.
Gary Oldman as President Truman.
great.
Didn't even realize it was
Great.
him
I
till
mean,
I
RJ
know.
told me.
I don't think Nolan likes Truman very much.
Yeah.
It made him look like
But
an
I looked it
idiot.
up. That is true. He didn't say like that whole thing where he's like, don't let that
Crybaby back in.
He said that, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
not like in a different
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like we talk about how Oppenheimer was a pretty, I guess narcissistic is a weird word, but egotistical. I would say
He was aware of his genius.
right, exactly. And then you have again when you're talking politics and you're talking fame, right? Like if you're the friggin' president. It doesn't matter who you are, what side you're on, whatever. Like, if you're the president, you're like the most famous person in America, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it is kind of funny that he was going to President Truman to say, like, I feel personally responsible for everyone, 400,000 people that died. I feel like I individually killed all of them. And President Truman's like, how dare you? I killed those fucking people. Like, it's just funny. Like, it was like a weird take on, they're not going to remember you. They're going to remember me. Like, how dare you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Just historically speaking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, obviously, performance-wise, he was dope. They all were amazing.
The two we were missing though, Michael Caine, he retired though, so that was and
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. Tom
That's
Hardy
true,
was
that's
another
true.
one of Nolan's
Yeah,
boys.
two of his
that wasn't
boys.
in
Tom
this.
Hardy, and I don't even know where he would have gone, though.
He should have just
actually-
played Alfie from
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
How did you? So when the trailer first dropped months
Yeah.
ago, RJ, you were a little like, wah,
Mr.
wah.
Damon.
Yeah, I totally agreed.
In the
He was
movie?
not my favorite character in this movie. He was good. They were all listen. I'm grasping here. I'm grasping at straws because it's a podcast and we got to bitch about some things here.
Yeah.
Okay, but like out of the top tier talent across the board, Matt Damon
Definitely
was a
my
little-
least standout performance. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because people shit on Nolan for having that weird cameo when he shows up in Interstellar. On the
Oh, he
planet.
isn't into. He's a dick in Interstellar.
Matt Damon's weird because like
Ah,
come
he's
on.
not a bad actor,
But like in
something I
was
don't
gonna say
know.
Footloose. What's it called?
like Matt
Air
Damon.
Jordan. What's it called? Jordan.
Air.
He's
Air.
great in those
He
roles.
was so good in
when he's
Air,
kind of the
dude.
everyman.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah.
I don't think he was bad in this. I just think
no. But
everyone
the
else
line,
was a standout.
The line from the
It
trailer.
was better in the movie.
He's got
Oh,
the
you
it was
liked
swear.
better
it?
in context, and he
He
also
swore.
swore too,
That helped.
Yeah,
which made it a
yeah.
bit more.
thought he- I
and
thought
then
he
they
was-
This
build
is why I
up
don't
to
like
it.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Because contextually in the trailer, it's just there.
Right,
But they
right.
build up like, oh, he's like holding it in. You can't talk about what they're saying,
And
and
he
then he
swears.
finally explodes. Like I think
Yes.
it was better.
Yeah, I did. He did have a line that I like audibly laughed out loud
Oh,
at.
the kill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he said, "Well, we'll just have him killed."
Yeah, right.
No big deal.
Yeah.
And like the whole theater was like, "Man."
And Nolan does
it was
throw-
kind of funny.
The funniest tweet I saw was at the end. They were comparing the guy when they tell Robert Downey Jr. Oh, like you lost the vote, and they're like, oh, guy from Massachusetts wants to make it. He's Kennedy, John F. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the scene people were comparing it to in Dark Knight Rises when Joseph Gordon-Levitt gives the card. He's like, oh, I like your real name, Robin. Like they just like throw
Yeah.
that out there. It's just a Nolan thing to do.
Yeah,
It's like
I like the
John
the
F.
John
Kennedy will
thing.
return.
Throw it
That
in
was
there.
kind of
Yeah.
funny.
It
was
and then I
good.
think another scene that made me chuckle was when the car drives away and Einstein just appears from the
Oh, I
car.
love
Can
Einstein.
you look up who's the Einstein guy is? Who's the
Tim
actor?
Conti.
He
German.
was
Yeah.
so good.
He's so gentle.
He played, you know who he played Dark Knight Rises? You know the guy in the pit? The
Oh,
old guy, that's him.
no way.
Yeah,
The guy
yeah.
who's like
When
the
he's
blind guy
"You
who's
must make the
chanting?
climb.
That
Yeah.
guy's no way. That's
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
That
yeah.
guy's fucking awesome.
Yep.
He must make the climb.
So I agree that Robert Downey Jr. has a standout
Oh, great
performance,
movie.
but I think that maybe it might just be the story. I don't know. See, this is the thing when it's difficult. When everybody's so talented
Mm-hmm.
in like acting wise, it becomes difficult to say like who did a better job or which character do you like more? Because like Robert Downey Jr. did a great job, but Emily Blunt as that secret
Phenomenal.
weapon against the lawyer. Who when she's in there and
He
she's
was
like
great too.
he
Jason
was
Clark.
so
awesome.
So
good.
good.
I hated him.
Yeah.
And like I hated the
yeah.
character. Like you know
He's
what I mean?
a great. I don't know if you guys have seen Showtime about the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh yeah, he's in there. Jerry West, right?
Dude, he's like the best part of the show.
Yeah.
It's such a different role. He really can do anything. He's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think Emily Blunt was a great American accent. Like she did a
She's
she
good.
Did, she did
She's
it.
good in everything.
Yeah.
She really is. But
Yeah.
like this, it's just cool when you see. I don't know. This is a Matt style movie. Have you seen Devil Wears Prada?
No, but I'm familiar
Oh,
with it
dude,
though.
what?
I know.
Oh, it's so good.
Fuck.
I love that movie.
Got a long list.
She's in that as
Seen
well.
Edge of Tomorrow. She's in it.
And
Mary
she's
Poppins. Yeah.
but
Quiet
like
Place.
as a more serious kind of role, I don't know. I thought she did really good. She played the alcoholism that
Yeah.
she suffered was great. Not the alcohol, but the way she
Yeah,
portrayed it was
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
The makeup on her was good. They made her look a bit older too. And,
Yeah, across the board, they said there was a lot of stretching and stippling, and that
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
yeah.
the skin look older. I was very impressed by that. I don't know. Florence Pugh was great. The Florence Pugh storyline, the girlfriend that dies, that
I don't think there's much about her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In that they had to work with, but I think it was a part of his life, so they included it.
sure.
And it was connected to his communist connections. You know what
that's
I love though?
fair. That's a
Great
good point.
dark
Is
one.
Nolan he dived into a little horror with this movie, especially in that scene where he's making the speech and the lights flash and all the people's skin starts peeling.
Oh,
and
that was freaky.
Yeah, I have
scary
two
scene.
complaints. One's
That
about
was
that.
freaky, man.
You didn't like that scene?
No, I loved it. I wish, and there were some people reviewing this who said that they wished that they had seen the bombs drop on Japan, just to see it. But it's not about that. It's about the Trinity test, so it makes sense that they weren't in there.
And
but
I don't think
a way to include it to give a little bit more action, if you wanted to, would be to have Oppenheimer have dream sequences about the Japanese. You know what I mean? Something like that. I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't have, but if you wanted to include something like that, you could, only because you had scenes like that one where everything gets really bright and you see I loved that practical makeup flickering on the face, the skin.
It was freaky,
It was freaky, but it was like supposed to be, because you want to feel the way Oppenheimer feels.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting. And then the only other complaint that I had was I wasn't a fan of seeing it in IMAX.
How so?
It was like, like the bomb.
Yeah.
It goes from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen.
Yeah.
And like they have the rail. These are like, again, grasping here. But it was like almost too big. Like I couldn't even see the whole screen.
And that wasn't even
as
big as that wasn't even the biggest one that we were. Like, there were bigger ones that you were supposed to go.
Yeah, like the 70.
Sure, and that's fine, too. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't have complained if I saw this in a regular theater. I really liked...
I'm a Dolby guy.
The sound with Jordan, with Elliot, with the butt kick is... I'll tell you, that was nice.
Yes.
Okay?
But
the size of the screen,
if I was shooting a movie,
anything.
IMAX is great for, like, those Vista shots, big overlays, but... Nolan loves it, and I understand why he loves it. It's definitely not my favorite use of camera. I like, the close aspect ratio is a little bit tighter and stuff, but I mean, it's Nolan, and he does it so well that like you are immersed in it.
Yeah,
that screen is so big.
100%.
3 hours.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. I feel it's not a movie for everybody. But
everyone saw it, which is kind of funny, which. Normally,
I think it goes to show. So week over week over week, right? And we all knew this was going to happen once Barbie and Oppenheimer dropped because they were the biggest films talked about. But Barbie did 150 some odd million, close to 160.
Yep.
Oppenheimer did 80 million, and Mission Impossible only did like 19
What were they
million.
thinking with that release date? They had 1 week. All they had was 1 week, and then these came out. I think Tom Cruise just is very stubborn about. He doesn't want to move. He doesn't want anyone else to force him to move.
Yeah, not trying to change the subject. I saw the numbers.
If that movie came out even in like late August, it would have made way more money.
Well, this is what I was going to say. You and I talked about it. Matt wasn't here. It was a couple episodes right before you went to Italy. We talked about this type of release date issues and all this other stuff, right? And like the thing that's crazy to me is like if you had just taken. If you weren't so stubborn, these numbers go to show that in 1 weekend you can make your budget back. Yeah. If you just if you just wait a minute. I mean, the movie's only made 87 million. Oppenheimer made that in 3 days.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he was complaining about the IMAX screenings. I think he just should have suck it up and
But he was saying he wanted the whole summer run of everything, Tom Cruise and all this other stuff. And Matt's seen it twice. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm sure it's a great movie.
No, it's just a bad
$291 million. You'd think you'd be a little bit smarter than that, you know?
I think, I mean, the timing's tough. I will say, I think it was the best one I've seen.
No, I think it is good. I just think the timing was bad.
But what are you going to do?
How crazy is this? Barbie's numbers, right? They've only paid for advertising because they spent $150 million on advertising.
Really?
How crazy is that?
That's crazy. I mean, it paid off.
It is everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sure. No, I'm just saying. I just think it's when I always look at the numbers of everything. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
What about what's it called? RDJ, Emily Blunt. Florence,
I think we, in terms of Oscars right now, I think you got Cillian Murphy, Best Actor, getting nominated. RDJ, Best Supporting Actor, and Emily Blunt, I think, Best Supporting Actress.
Okay.
Obviously, what about movies that we don't know about will pop up at the end of the year with that
but like, what
Oscar
else do we have
bait.
coming out?
No, but it's the Oscar
Killers of the Flower
movies. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh shit!
Dune. You get
but
Dune.
people are talking really well about Killers too. I think very
this to me is my Best Picture pick right now until something else surpasses
So
it.
this is my point, though. Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't plan on seeing in IMAX, is what I'm saying. Like, I'll go to a regular...
it's not shot in IMAX.
But do you know what I'm saying? Even if it was, like, just that story, I'm like, just give me a regular theater. I want to be able to see the whole frame.
It's a Dolby
Sometimes it gives me a headache, the IMAX.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
It's a lot. 3 hours is a lot.
It's a lot.
You know, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
You know?
Yeah, Killers in the. I feel like
Josh Peck. Oh my God, I'm just thinking of these
Yeah.
people, like
And the
random
kid from
people with like no
Project
lines.
Rules.
Huey from The Boys, he was in it.
Yep.
Recruited him.
You know what's funny is
Bernard
I
the
think-
Elf.
Oh, he was great.
He was awesome.
Bernard was awesome.
phenomenal.
One of
Listen,
my
you're the great
favorites.
improviser.
Yeah.
No, he was
so
really good.
He was so funny.
He was always feeding him. Hey, you gotta eat.
I saw a tweet.
Yeah, have an orange in a
orange.
tissue. Go ahead.
I saw a cool tweet of the group from. Have you seen 10 Things I Hate About You
Great movie.
with Heath Ledger?
Oh, I did
It's
see
Heath
that.
Oh,
Ledger.
yeah.
It's Bernard and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and
Julia
they all have
Stiles.
their own Nolan movies, which is kind of funny.
Julia Stiles.
No, again, all those supporting actors were great.
Mm.
I think it's funny that Nolan puts those people in because Nolan's not a big like social media guy. I feel like
He doesn't seem like a big social
he's out of
butterfly.
touch. He's out of touch intentionally with that stuff.
I like that.
But I wonder if he throws those people in there thinking it'll bring in like those like
Well, I
different
think
because he threw Harry Styles in Dunkirk.
I think he just wants he wants the blockbuster. He wants stars. He wants names.
Yes,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Anything to help.
Yeah. He's like a big time like sports owner signing the biggest free agents.
Yeah.
Let's build a super team.
Let's get the kid from Drake and
Yeah.
Josh to press the button.
Yeah,
You know?
literally,
Like, yeah.
Seriously.
literally. But
Yeah.
I find it interesting because you're right. It's definitely a super team map.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't just randomly throw names in there.
No.
He puts people in place if they're good. Like Rami Malek showing up for one day, he killed it.
Yeah.
I
That
mean, he
speaks to
absolutely
Nolan.
killed
What
it.
other director would Rami Malek agree to do?
Yeah, exactly.
a
The
role like
actors.
that?
A one day,
Yeah.
He was literally on set for one day.
Yeah,
Everyone
That's
wants to
crazy.
be in a Nolan movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
And
that's
Gary
insane.
Oldman too was like a one-day shoot.
Yeah, everyone respects him. What did Greta Gerwig say? She wants to be Nolan, right? She wants to
Who
kind of
wouldn't
like
want to be Nolan.
where she can kind of make those big blockbuster, but also make it like indie stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
That like kind of
definitely.
avenue that really only Nolan has.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that's
tougher
interesting.
now for directors to get to that level. I'd say right now, Nolan, Scorsese, all these guys are well established, though. You know what I'm saying? So it's tougher for those younger actors to escape that world.
But if you look back on their careers, Greta Gerwig is definitely following the correct path. If you look at Lady Bird or Bird Lady or whatever,
Yeah,
the hell
Lady
it is.
Bird,
Lady
yeah.
Bird, yeah. Like that's her memento. I mean, that's her that's her indie
And
film.
then Little Women was a
Yeah,
bit bigger. Yeah.
Exactly, but you have to start with your memento. You have to start with your Lady Bird, whatever it is. And that's why when I talk about like us, right, and we're talking about like making short films and
Yeah.
everything else, like you have to get up to that point. And then once you hit that point, if it's good, right? If you
Yeah.
make a Lady Bird or a Memento, or you make a Reservoir Dogs, or you make something that's a standout thing, the path it'll happen.
Yeah.
Like you're good.
No, and then you get to
know?
that one for us, one for them type thing. you know?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But you're right. It's not a very average thing. I think it's the days of the blockbuster director, like a Steven Spielberg. Like people don't go to the movies anymore because of the director as much. Besides, like
I'd
a
say
Christopher
only
Nolan.
Nolan. And
Yeah,
then
it's
once
like a couple
Scorsese
people.
and Spielberg and those guys are
Tarantino.
gone, like
Well,
I
and that's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying is everybody's so old.
There's maybe 5 you could count. You know what I mean?
Tarantino,
And a lot
and
of
if
them
he-
are phasing out.
exactly. So
Yeah.
once those guys are gone, I don't know if that's something that'll ever happen again.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, there's a lot
We
of young
say this
directors that I
stuff-
love, like Robert Eggers is great.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we say this stuff, but this is my whole point, and this is what I'm always preaching to you, like philosophy-wise,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mindset you have to have is like, we could be in those roles someday. We
Yeah,
just
yeah,
have
yeah.
to continue making movies, and somebody has to step up because Scorsese's not going to last forever.
No.
You know what I mean? They used to say this about Billy Wilder back in the
Yeah,
30s
yeah.
and 40s and 50s. Like, no one's ever going to be the next Billy Wilder. Okay, how many people today your age know who Billy Wilder is?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's always the next generation. I always get nervous on a subconscious like Oppenheimer level like this. I'm sitting there going like, if I don't make movies, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to take that position. It's going to ruin the industry. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So no, I think this was really good. It's definitely not an action movie.
We
It's
haven't
not a Michael
talked
Bay
about
movie.
Cillian Murphy though. What'd you think of him in this? Obviously, we love Cillian. We've seen him for years.
I
but-
thought he was based off what I hear about Oppenheimer and how he was just kind of like a neurotic, just like chain smoker,
Yeah.
just kind of like always, just kind of. I thought he was perfect.
Yeah.
I thought he did it perfectly.
What's the guy's name? Who from Harry Potter? British guy
He was
who
in
played
this.
the German guy who was in this.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, Lockhart.
Lockhart. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's good.
So
Great.
Dunkirk,
good.
he's one of
very-
Nolan's
he's
boys,
aw-
too.
Dunkirk.
Tenet.
He was the villain in Tenet.
I liked him.
The movie's so long, but it's also like you're so enveloped in it like so quickly that when Lockhart shows up and he's the special guest, I even was like, "Oh, good, he's here!" Like
Yeah,
I got
he's
excited.
awesome.
Like, you know what I mean?
he's really good.
Like I didn't even know who this guy
He's
is.
in two scenes.
Like, what the fuck am I excited about? But it's like you just love these characters immediately. Like you feel like you know them.
Yeah.
It was done so well. Oh, it was done
What
so
did
well.
you think of? Einstein was in this a lot more than I thought.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I will say I knew right from that first scene when you don't hear what they're saying to each other, I'm like, that's gonna come back.
Yeah, because of
what
Nolan.
did you think of that? The way it ended.
So I didn't, when he walked by him and he was upset and RDJ was like, what did you say to him or whatever? Like, I didn't think about it then. I thought about it earlier than that when he was like, if you'd like, I can introduce you to Einstein. And he was like, oh, I already know him. I was like, ooh, Robert Downey Jr. is going to have an issue with that. Like that dynamic of him being an egotistical, like, I already know who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that could come back only because it's Nolan. Like, I feel like I went into this movie like hypersensitive to like small little bullshit things because I knew they'd be atomic bombs later.
He always
you know?
infuses it with the way he does things.
Yeah.
The Nolan style is there.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole opening, I mean, Ludwig Göransson's music was amazing.
Oh, he
that
did great.
whole first 30 minutes of him showing younger Oppenheimer was like a music video, pretty much, just cutting through his life.
We got the whole like gambit of this guy's life
It was
in
good.
like very short period of time, yeah.
I'll tell you, with the Einstein thing, I appreciate it. I feel like Oppenheimer, how like Nolan presented it in the movie, is that Einstein is really the only guy he can relate to. I feel like he kind of thought like he's the only guy on my level, and he did like genius things for his country, and then was kind of like pushed out by his country, like after the fact.
Yep.
And I feel like throughout everything, he felt like Einstein's like really the only guy who's like on his level and kind of gets it. And I don't know, I didn't know that at all, so I kind of like that.
And Einstein had that great line. It's like they're gonna award you after, but it's not for you. It's for them.
that was kind of like
Great
chilling.
line. And then obviously the chilling line ender was when Cillian's like, I think we did start a chain reaction, and then it cuts to obviously the potential in his head and the raindrop shot.
This is the other thing I liked about Nolan too was in general is that you always get the answer. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it works with Nolan, like with Inception, the end of Inception when the top is spinning and is it going to fall over, is it not, whatever, that kind of deal. I liked that we went. It made sense to me. I liked that we went back and heard the conversation between Cillian and Conti.
Yep.
Like I feel like that totally worked. I wasn't like upset.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be left up to interpretation. I liked it. I feel like that finding out what they talked about made me hate RDJ even more. Like it made me on Cillian Murphy's side because we found out that it's like, yeah, we were doing something more important than you. You know what I mean? Like not everything revolves around Robert Downey Jr. Or his character, I mean, which I thought was very interesting.
But I love when RDJ Strauss has that big blow up and he says Oppenheimer, if he had a chance, he would do it again. You know, like he believed that Oppenheimer knew what he was doing the whole time and he just wanted the fame. And I like how they kept that open for interpretation because you really don't know.
Right.
No one knows. You know, was he just kind
of... What do you
think?
think, based on the film?
I don't know.
What do you think?
I think he was so driven by just... I think scientists, I mean, I'm not a scientist, I have no idea, but I feel like they
driven toward the answer.
They want to find it out, but they don't think about what happens after the fact.
Right.
And I think he was so driven by we have to do this, the potential is there, and then he just didn't even think about it. And then things fall into place. The Nazis surrendered before they even use it. And then they're left with Japan, and it's all this stuff. And it's just like, I feel like that's what it is.
That's kind of like an underrated aspect. Like the entire time, the Nazis.
Yeah.
Then they finally finish it. Oh, the Nazis are done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hitler's dead. Like
that's like 3 or 4 years or however long it was making,
it's almost like we got to do something with it.
And it was like we spent, $2 billion? The Nazis are... You know what? That's like I wrote my fucking college like paper on my final.
Really?
On Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like, was it the right decision? Like 30 pages. Yeah. Because a lot of people, the big argument against is that like Japanese were like bound to surrender. You know, but then it was like a mainland invasion would have cost like American lives. But what if they like surrendered soon? Did you need to drop both bombs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there was only like 3 or 4 days between bombs. So there's like a lot of
how about that scene where they're talking about where they're going to drop the bombs and the guy says, well, we can't drop it there because I honeymoon there with my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, that's realistic. I mean, I just can't believe that people with that much power can like say something so like bullshit. Like so like.
Right. But like you said, Matt, the mainland invasion aspect of it, I think what they were thinking was we're going to kill civilians either way. If they invade Japan, people are going to die, and it
just not
counted that with soldiers, it's probably going to be more.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just the mainland
you never
invasion.
know.
Americans die this way. No Americans die.
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah.
is this way, like, inhumane?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And also there's the whole Russia thing. Like, we're going to show off to the Soviet Union.
I mean, listen, I think there is an inevitability about this, right? This thing was going to get made.
Well, it did get made.
You know what
let's
I'm
be
saying?
honest. We
Whether
knew
the
going into this
Soviets
how the story ends. Like, they dropped the bomb.
Right.
Like,
I'm just saying, like, it's kind of that whole aspect. I mean, he says it's like, it's either I know what the Nazis would do with a bomb, and I know what we would, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we can't let them do it.
well, that's
And that's
true,
kind
too.
of, yeah.
That's probably
Yeah.
what he told them, all these scientists. What he probably told himself this whole time, I'm making something terrible, but it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Better us than Hitler. And then, Hitler's defeated. We've made the bomb. It's kind of like, oh, shit. You know, but it's like too late because it's not in his hands
You
anymore.
can't just be like, stop using it now.
Yeah.
Once that power's
Right.
unlocked.
Yeah, you put $2 billion
Yeah.
into it.
I feel like there's something to be said about like drinking the Kool-Aid in the sense that like Matt Damon's character is very pro. Not that it's a bad. I'm just saying like he's very pro-America in the sense that like
Typical
it
soldier,
doesn't
yeah.
whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a soldier, these are my demands, and this is how it's going to go. And you have somebody like Oppenheimer who, one, politically has issues, you know, with America, just the way that, you know, capitalism and all that other stuff. But then, two, like, is really more about 1 + 1 = 2. So that's great that you have this ideology, but just chill for 1 second because I got to figure this out first.
And he wasn't a
You know?
communist. He was kind of just like I want to get a taste of everything.
He just wanted to know
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
He's an information seeker, he's a scientist.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question? I just want your opinion on this. I've been waiting to ask about this stuff for like since we saw the movie.
Yeah.
But, did you see Don't Look Up?
I did.
Okay.
Adam McKay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't like it, but
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
it's more on the production side of things. I feel like a lot of movies nowadays that are coming out in the 20s are editing this way, and some of those shots where they would do these quick cutaways to the particles that would flicker around and everything reminded me of Don't Look Up when he would, you know, they'd be talking about an animal, or like they would be talking about they would be what's her name, Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy. They're standing in the kitchen at one point, and they just in conversation mention a name, and for like half a second they'll cut to the guy's face so that the audience kind of remembers immediately who they're talking about because there's a lot of names and a lot of people.
Oh, like when Heisenberg, they cut to like when he met Heisenberg. Yeah.
But like not even a word will be able to get out of their mouth. Like you just show the person, you go back.
I feel
You know
like
what
it's
I mean?
important to do it because of so many characters in the 3-hour
But it's a very new style of editing.
Sure.
I just wanted your opinion on it. I think it
I
works,
think it-
but it's
I think
weird.
it
It's a little
helped me.
jarring.
It helped me, especially when like names are thrown out, like Borden. Like
Sure.
at one point, I lost track of who Borden was, and of course it was David Demashelen, who just plays a creep in every movie.
Yeah.
You know that guy?
Which one was it?
He was the guy that was snitched on Oppenheimer.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
he just plays he's resident
Yeah.
creep.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I got him. Oh, that guy, he's great. Polka
yeah.
dots and
yes, Polka Dot Man.
the Suicide Squad. Oh, he's
But
awesome.
you know what I'm saying? Like that helped me because it's hard to sometimes you lose track, especially with the timelines.
Yep.
And any other director would butcher the hell out of this structure. Nolan loves playing with time.
He does. He's big
And
time.
he
guy.
it's similar to how he structured Dunkirk too,
Thank you.
to where you had different chapters that
Yeah.
took place in different time periods. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree.
I
just-
rewatched Dunkirk the other day. That's unreal too.
Do that ending.
It really
Yeah.
it
With
never
Tom
gets
Hardy's
old.
just
Tom
looking
Hardy.
out.
Yeah,
That's my favorite scene in Dunkirk.
yeah.
We do have a couple more movies this year that I think we'll be excited to review. Dune, obviously.
Dune.
Oh, Dune. They're saying
Dune's
it might
yeah,
get
they're
pushed,
still
right?
debating it.
Whoa,
It's
whoa.
not confirmed yet, but it might get pushed to March.
You're shitting me.
Serious, because of the strike.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Because they can't really they can't do publicity
Dude,
and stuff.
Oh, not
Not
the news
to-
I needed today.
Not to go on and on about the strike at all. I just
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to. I would have texted you this. I just thought of it though
I'm
because you
selfish.
said
I'm
it.
thinking of me.
The reason that what is her name? Anne Hathaway and those films because they're made by A24, which isn't represented by AMPTP. That's why.
Oh, interesting.
That's
Okay.
why
Good
because
to
they're
know.
not one of the big.
Hey, listen,
studios
guys,
yet.
it's all right. Rings of Power finished filming, so
I couldn't give a
we're-
shit.
we're getting
less.
I
Rings
will
of Power.
say there is good news about
Yeah.
the strike. I did a little research. A24 is making a movie with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. They've been allowed to continue filming.
nice.
Yeah, because A24 isn't represented
It's
in the
called
strike.
Death of a Unicorn. It's about a father and a daughter, and they hit and kill a unicorn, and they bring it to
Oh, I
like
did hear about
this
this.
magical hospital to try and like fix it.
Oh, jeez.
Not gonna lie, could have been about anything. Jenna Ortega's in it.
And Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there.
That's like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling.
So there's good news, guys. Don't worry. There's
All
good
right,
news.
that's interesting.
You know?
I am.
I don't know where to film it, but
If you had asked me, like,
Romania.
when we
Travis
first
Scott's
started
got a movie coming.
really doing this
yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
like really hardcore, every week, whatever, like, I don't know. I was kind of pessimistic about the movie industry in general. There just wasn't a lot of good stuff. And I will say, like, I have completely changed my take on this industry based on this year's movies alone.
Well, and
been
Everything
awesome.
Everywhere All at Once. I didn't like it as much as everyone else did, but people were talking about that, and that was an A24 indie movie.
Right, but that's my point, though. I feel like I had this perception of, like, Disney beating the crap out of Star Wars. I just felt
Marvel.
like that's
Yeah.
where everything was going. That's why I used to bitch so much about the superhero stuff, because it's for a hot minute.
no, it was a
That's
while.
all we got.
Yeah.
That was it. It was nothing but, like, factory
Marvel.
of bullshit
Yeah.
CGI,
constantly.
Marvel, Star
And
Wars.
it's like, now finally, even if it's Barbie, man, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like,
practical.
you have some of these real, like, original, not something that's going to need a sequel. There's no sequel to Oppenheimer. Like,
No.
that's the
Yeah.
movie. That's it.
Yep.
It's just, dude, it makes me cry.
But,
like,
like,
it literally gives me
this-
like the feels hardcore.
The issue
I'm so
is with
inspired.
the executives, and it's always been how they perceive things because they're businessmen, and they need to take notes after this weekend and look at what happened here.
I hope
you know
they
what I'm
do.
saying?
And I hope that they have multiple weeks in a row of, like, really disgustingly high grossing numbers. That brings me to my last question, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
have more, but this is my last question for you that I have that I want to make sure I ask you, both of you. Where do we fall? Barbie, Oppenheimer, where do we fall box office, like, when the run is over? Like, how much money?
Oh,
will they
I
make?
think Barbie will definitely.
Not which one will do better. How much, though, for each one? What do you think?
Oh,
Because we're at 150
see, I
and
don't
we're
know.
at 80-something
I don't
right
know the
now.
box
I'm
office
not
number.
good with numbers. I don't know. I think Oppenheimer will probably fall around 300
Okay, cool.
because it's still going to open worldwide too. 300, 400 maybe. I could be lowballing or highballing. I don't
Wow,
know.
close to $500 million.
I
That's
think
crazy.
Barbie 600 or 700.
We're talking worldwide, too. I think
I
when
have no
Barbie hits
idea.
China, it's going to go crazy.
I have no idea.
I don't think it'll hit $1 billion, Barbie.
Maybe not. Maybe not $1 billion.
But it'll get
If
close.
Greta Gerwig makes $1 billion movie, that career,
Yeah,
she's set.
She'll be making all the Narnias.
She'll
yeah.
make everything.
Narnia.
She will.
I'm gonna go like 6. I'm gonna go 700, 600 for
Sure.
Barbie.
Yeah, that'll be very. Can you imagine you're a director? You've made like 2 films that, like, you really like for yourself. Then you make a $700 million
Right.
movie.
Imagine you're Jalen Brown. You can't dribble. You
Dude,
get
the guy
300
can't
million.
dribble off his left hand. He gets 300 highest paid player ever.
Yeah.
Can't dribble. No
Yeah,
left.
It shows. You don't have to
Unbelievable.
do it
But
all.
like crazy though. I mean, that's a crazy
a
number.
lot of money getting thrown out. It's not coming to me.
I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, RJ.
Love
Um,
the game, you know.
Trying to think of what else really. I mean, a lot to unpack with this movie. I will say one other scene that I really like, Nolan going outside the box when Florence Pugh kills herself.
Ooh.
That suicide scene.
Safdie.
Benny Safdie.
was so good.
Phenomenal.
I just pulled up the cast.
That-
I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
was good.
mentioning somebody.
He's the
very good.
director of
Yeah.
Uncut Gems.
He was
and
very
him
good.
and his brother.
Yeah. Did you like Good Time? Did you watch Good Time?
Yeah, I love.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
So good.
It's a
so
very good
good.
with Pattinson.
Now, here's something we could talk about connected to
Go.
Nolan. Did you see the interview?
That
They
one? No,
said
I've seen
they
a lot
asked
of
him
interviews,
about
though.
Bond. I have been watching a lot of interviews, but they said like, listen, like we're in a new generation. You said if they ever need you, that you're up for the task. And he said, listen, it would be an honor to do it. And so basically, he's put it out there. I want to direct
Henry
Bond. It's
Cavill.
all on them.
Henry Cavill.
But I feel like
Bond.
he's gonna go with one of his boys though.
Yeah,
Cillian
I mean,
Murphy,
Tom Hardy
Yeah.
Bond. Maybe he
Aaron
said.
Taylor Johnson. I heard too.
Yeah.
Craven.
There's Matthias Schweigenhofer Bofferdoffer.
Mm-hmm.
He was Heisenberg in.
Oh yeah, he was good.
so good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
They're all good.
Sometimes it's the cool thing about having such a star-studded cast. Like, sometimes you forget about certain actors, and then they pop up, and you're like, "Wow, you're really good in a lot of shit." Like,
Yeah.
I
think
love
with,
your movies.
With RDJ,
Like,
it's like
know?
you said, Matt. We've been seeing pretty much only Iron Man
For-
from him,
Which he's
15
good
years,
in.
10
and
years.
I
he's a
was
good
kind
Iron
of
Man.
worried. Like, are we gonna see Iron Man in this? And we didn't. And it was kind of connected to, like, Succession. I remember texting you. There's that scene where Tom and Shiv have that argument on the porch, and I texted you and I said that scene, the acting was so good, it took me out of it in like the best way possible. Like, I was watching this, I'm like, this is amazing acting. I had the same thing when RDJ blew up on Alden Ehrenreich.
Yes.
Like, I was like, whoa, this is like incredible stuff.
I love Alden Ehrenreich as
He's
a
good.
in this
He's
thing, and I feel like I
Solo.
related to that character most. He's the guy that calls people out on their
He's
bullshit.
in the middle ground. Yeah.
But he was kind of like, yeah, not everything's about you, boss. Like,
Yeah.
I liked that character.
Yeah, he's good.
I thought he was very
I
good.
liked him too.
They should
have
put him
it-
in more stuff.
He's good. I liked him as Han Solo.
I think he was a good Han Solo.
and he's a
all
good-looking
things
guy too. I mean, he's no
considered.
Ryan Gosling, but like he's a
No,
good-looking
he's got
dude.
presence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, he's
no,
good.
I don't know. I was very happy across the board with this. It's not for everyone. Okay?
No.
It
Listen,
not
this
for
is
everyone.
not. It's not my favorite Nolan movie, but for those, it's hard to not argue that it's his most technically like brilliant movie.
It's executed incredibly well.
Like, yeah, I mean, all technical aspects of it are pretty incredible.
Yeah, if you're watching like Memento and you kind of like look down for a second and look back up. I mean, it's a great movie. I'm not saying that you wouldn't be enthralled by it, but if you look down and look back up, you don't know where the fuck you are in Memento. You know what I mean?
That's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
That movie.
This one is
the best way to.
this one's back and forth a little bit. Oh, how did you feel about the black and white, dude? Sorry, I look at
liked
it from
it.
like the
So,
film
like, all the
aspect.
black and
Like,
white-
how did you like it?
Well, yeah, he had said beforehand. I knew going into it that
Sure.
all the black and white was objective.
But just the quality. I mean, like, what did you think
It
about
was
it?
good.
It was
Yeah, I
sick.
like.
I don't
And I
know,
like.
get
It's a
excited
good way to
about it.
differentiate, especially when you're bouncing timelines. It
Yes.
helps you.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I liked it a lot. But I do like that he wrote the script in the first person. Although color was Oppenheimer, all the black and white was objective worldview. So
Yeah,
it was
Cillian Murphy ate like an almond a day on set.
I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah, he
deal
got
with
skinny, man.
I heard they
He's
invite him
skinny
out
as
to
is.
dinner every night. He wouldn't go.
Oh, that's,
Like he's just very. He's a very like doesn't want
Yeah.
the fame aspect.
I love
he just
dude.
wants
He's
to do
awesome.
the job.
He's one of my favorites. Like, not just but in this movie, just like
Yeah,
in the
I
world.
can't wait. We need that Peaky Blinders
Tommy.
movie.
All I could
ASAP.
think of is Tommy.
I think he'd be a good Bond.
Tommy.
I do think he would be.
He could do everything.
It'd be more similar to the Craig Bond, where it's gritty.
Yeah.
Obviously, Richard Madden, I think, still is the best
that's-
pick
that's
if they
my
want to go
pick.
young.
I feel like, see,
pick.
when I think of Bond, like, you're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He would be an interesting take on Bond. But when I think of Bond, I think almost of like Luther, like Idris Elba, or like
yeah, I just think
like-
he's too old.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I get that, but I'm saying like someone who like a
Suave.
Tom Hardy
Yeah.
to me, or even like a Henry Cavill would be a good Bond because it's
Mm-hmm.
very face value. Like Bond is like he's the good-looking 007 guy. He gets the girl.
Yeah.
He gets. I think Cillian is. I mean, he's just so complex.
Yeah, yeah,
as an
yeah.
actor, as
Right.
a person, and then
So
in the
me.
characters that he plays.
It would
Bond
be
is
very.
not that
It would be very
complex.
similar to Daniel Craig, I think, in terms of how he would approach that.
Sure, I
You
think
know.
Henry Cavill could be on.
But
on
Henry
Daniel
Cavill, to me,
Craig's.
I think he would be good, but I would not pick him as number one because he's in so much. I'd kind of want someone else.
He's in so much. What
Yeah,
is
he's
Henry
the
Cavill?
Witcher,
in? He's not
Superman,
anymore though.
But I know, but I don't know. I could.
And
use
he's not
another
Superman
face.
anymore either. David,
That's
how
fair.
dare you? David Cornswood.
Sorry,
Superman.
I'm sorry.
David Cornswood.
Either way, I hope Nolan makes the next Bond.
you know, I
think
gotta
that'd be
say
amazing.
that David Cornswood Superman. It's the first time I've been excited about a superhero movie.
I know,
I
this
think
is gonna be
ever.
good, hopefully.
I'm like fucking pumped,
God forbid
dude.
if it's terrible. This is gonna be bad.
I know. No, it better. He better not be. He'll deliver
But-
though. I'm sure. I have faith. I have faith. Come on.
Yeah.
One love.
Come on. That'll be
love.
good
I'm
too.
pumped for Bob
Yeah.
Marley.
This is my point. There's so many good
Yeah.
movies going
Yeah, there
up
are.
this
No,
year.
it's
We
a lot
could,
I'm
we
excited
could be
for.
coming out of the darkness.
dark
We could be
arts.
climbing out of the pit.
I
You
hope.
must make the
We
climb.
must make the climb.
Yeah.
Love that.
But,
That's a great scene, dude. What a fucking Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I don't like to hate it, guess. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you hear what's his name?
movie.
Thomas Hayden Church, who played Sandman in Spider-Man 3, said Raimi and Toby have been talking about doing a Spider-Man 4.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
All right.
Toby, huh?
Let it
Love
die.
Toby.
Isn't he
but
like
it's
50
fine.
now?
Hey, it's
So,
all right.
no,
That's
let
all right.
Let it die. But
All right.
Yeah,
know,
I
it's
hear you.
too-
That's what I'm
you know,
saying.
I'm the idiot who'll be there
16
opening
years
night.
ago. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be there too.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? But
Yeah,
But
that's
let's
crazy.
go. I'm ready for the next Nolan movie.
Yeah, me
So,
too, man.
I'm back on. He lost me a little on Tenet. I'm back on.
Yeah, 100%. I think Tenet was weird. That was like a weird.
That's
it
a
was
whole
weird. It was a
nother-
weird
We could
time.
talk about Tenet. I have thouts on
was a
Tenet,
weird
but we
time.
could talk about that
We
another
should
time.
at some point.
Yeah.
We should do a whole
Yeah.
episode on Tenet.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I'm happy I went. I'm glad that it was
was a
as
good
good as
time,
it
man.
was. It delivered exactly what I thought it was going to deliver.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm happy.
They lived up to the potential. They made the money. People went out.
It was an
Marketing
event.
worked.
It was an event.
And it was cool to go out with all you guys.
Yeah,
To have
man.
Christian
Yeah.
there. It was nice to meet Hamza in
the
person.
movie mob.
It was. It
And-
really
Well,
was.
dude, we
dude.
walked in there. It was fucking packed. Everyone had the shirts. Everyone was excited.
Yeah.
You could
Dude,
feel the energy.
People were like trying to take pictures with us.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look at the
Mo-
shirts."
movie
Like, they
mob,
loved
you know?
us. It was
But,
dope. It's very nice to be considered famous. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
And if you guys have not seen either of these movies, check it out. There's a movie for everybody out right now.
Mission
really.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, you get a nice popcorn action. Barbie, you got a little some goofy fun time, and then Oppenheimer, you get that drama. Fucking
There you go.
yeah, there you go.
You get something for everyone.
Little taste, a little bit of a mix, or
Yep.
see all three. You know,
That's
you
what I
could do
did.
that. That's what we did. So, overall thoughts, guys. We all liked it.
Good
It was a
time.
successful,
Oh, yeah, of course.
successful weekend for the industry. Hopefully, it changes things now going forward. We'll see. Maybe bouncing out of the strike, they're gonna come firing. We'll see. Maybe,
know.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe go fuck yourself.
Such a good line.
Good line.
Oh,
Great line. Good
I
movie.
think,
How was Walt? He was great in this
Departed.
as the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
I think. Imagine if it was like in
Mark
there.
Wahlberg.
He made the sound, the like the.
See, I feel like
Vin
that would
Diesel.
be another. You know how like they have like the Coen brothers and they have the Safdie brothers. And you have
Yeah.
all these people that like
A lot of
team up
brothers.
to direct.
Yep.
You know, but like the team up specifically.
Yep.
I think like a Scorsese cast under Nolan would also make an interesting film. Like if you had the same Departed cast or if you had the same cast as Departed, except in this with Cillian Murphy, like I wouldn't replace anybody, but I think Wahlberg would have been a nice addition. Like you had Matt Damon in there. You know what I mean? Wahlberg's good. Is he not good?
No, Wahlberg could have played the Damon role.
Yeah.
I think
That's what I'm
anybody could have
saying.
played
That's
the
what-
Damon role.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair
But-
point. I don't know. I thought
That
of
was
that.
the most like probably bland character.
Sure.
Like he served this purpose, but there was no layers to that guy.
Yeah. And then they
I
like
like
I love how he tries. I'm sorry, Matt Damon, but it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
I there's like all these articles and shit coming out how he went and talked to Ben Affleck's grandfather who fought in World War II before he prepped for the role. I'm like, you didn't have a role.
Yeah.
Like you just played a soldier guy. Like, oh yeah,
Hey, listen,
we'll do this.
we
We'll
love
do that.
Matt Damon. He's a good product of the
Yeah,
area.
he's
All right.
I don't know.
Shut up,
He's
Boston.
Whatever.
Yep.
You know, but like, come on, man. Come on. You
Good
know,
Will Hunting.
out of all the
Good
roles,
movie.
it was he did that 50 years ago. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did that. It was his first. That was his first movie, and that
Right.
was an indie movie. That the you know, there's a lot of people involved in that movie that
I like it.
made it big.
Yep.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like it's that was a bland role. I loved it. I'm sorry. Do your outro.
I
Do your
loved
thing.
it too, man.
It was great.
I'm glad. I'm excited for Oscar season now. I'm excited. I hope
Me too.
Christopher
now it'll be
Nolan,
worth
this
watching.
he's got to win Best Director for this. I mean, it's about time. He was only nominated once, and that's for Dunkirk.
But like, can we just wait for Killers of the Flower Moon before we
Sure.
decide on who's-
Scorsese's won before. I think
and
Nolan deserves
rightfully
it.
so.
What about Denis? You know?
Ooh,
Didn't he? We'll see
well,
if it comes
depends
out.
if it
though,
comes
not
out
if
in
it
March.
comes out in March.
That's fucked.
I love how sad you get. Like,
This is gonna
immediately.
be. I will say though,
don't
if,
talk it. Don't bring
dude,
it
if
up.
Dune 2 does come out, there's gonna be like these three are gonna be button heads. I think.
Well, it's going to be a war.
I'm pro
It's going to
Dune.
be a campaign war.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll be one where, just campaigning wise for the Academy,
Mhm.
Scorsese will actually have to campaign, which I think is very
Yeah.
interesting. Right
And
now,
Dune-
there was a great. We've talked about these before. Every year they do all of the nominees for Best Director get on stage and they sit in front of a huge live audience and they
Oh,
do these
yeah,
big
yeah.
interviews. It's like 5 hours.
Be a stacked cast this year.
Well, yeah, and then it was a couple of years ago, I think, that Scorsese was the only one who didn't show up in person, and he zoomed in. And Tarantino, it was right after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Tarantino was like, he got asked a question like, "How come you didn't do this or how come you didn't do that?" And he was like, "Because we don't all have unlimited budgets like some people."
Oh,
and he
yeah, I
points
did
up to
see
the
that.
screen,
Yeah.
and Scorsese kind of sat there like, "Yeah, what do you want from me? Like, I do whatever
Yeah.
the fuck I want."
Right.
So I think that if Dune does come out, it's going to be one of those things where he can't just kind of sit there and shrug it off.
Mhm.
Like Scorsese would have to campaign against Nolan and Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. I mean, Dune, the first Dune, I don't know if it led the Oscars that year, but it won a ton of Oscars that first year.
which is so disappointing because I feel like Dune 2 is going to be so much better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If Dune
Dune.
2 lives up to the hype and it's
No, it
good,
will.
like, could it get the Return of the King treatment?
Speaking it into
you know
existence,
what I'm
it'll
saying?
be
We'll
awesome.
see. I don't know.
I'm very pumped for that movie.
I
It
am
looks
too.
like Gladiator and Star Wars.
Lady
Big
Jessica.
line.
Yeah.
Lady
And we got
Jessica.
Napoleon.
Eh.
Anyway.
I will say, I was way more excited
One Love.
watching that in IMAX.
Yeah.
That looked friggin' believable.
Yeah, because
man.
the aspect ratio was also not an IMAX too.
No, but just like seeing those battle sequences,
Yeah, on the big screen,
and seeing it was a different thing than when I watched it on my phone. Is all
Right.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
sent me the
Definitely.
trailer because we were talking about that, I was like, seeing that, I would see that. I
Yeah.
would see that in the theater.
I
Look
agree.
Good. Look good.
Well, guys, thank you for watching, guys. Barbenheimer weekend is over. If you saw it, let us know your reviews of both of those movies down below. Ask us questions for next week. We'll answer them if we didn't get to it today. And, guys, as always, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. It all helps the channel. We appreciate your support. We'll be back next week. Movie Mob, Fridays at 6 p.m. We'll see you then. How you doing?